Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to Valhelsia 3. So, it's been a little bit since the last episode. That's due to a couple of reasons. First up, Stacia has been extremely addicting, and it's kind of had me hooked on there, and I've been busy with some stuff on there. But also, I was kind of working on something on here. I spent an absolute ton of time trying to figure out what was causing so much lag over here. Still have not figured it out. I spent a long time in a test world. I tried, you can see I tried adding in cyclic and adding in some concentrated soundproofing here, as well as where the pistons are. That didn't change anything. I added lights and just double checked lights and added a whole bunch of lights back there with the redstone and where the lava and water is. That also didn't change anything. I have tried changing the blocks that the mechanical bearing is made up of, getting rid of the small spruce beams. That changes nothing. Tried moving it, about everything other than just getting rid of it and setting up some other sort of cobble gen. So that may be what I have to do. Unfortunately, I don't know. But it does seem to be related to this specifically, because if this is running, I do not have the FPS issues. So I'm not sure. I might. One thing I haven't tried, and I was just thinking, I know it says overstressed. It's not actually overstressed. This is reading overstressed, but that's because there's no power being made. So it's looking at it and saying, yeah, there's too much going on here. One thing I haven't tried doing is just getting rid of all these mechanical belts that are in charge of picking things up. I don't foresee that changing anything, but I could try doing like a vacuum collector and then have it sent off. That might be something worth giving a shot anyway, so I may work on that. Of course, what I do is I duplicate my world and turn it into like a creative side world, and then do my testing there. Now, I did add chunk loaders, and the pack is now fully updated. That's another thing that took a bit of time because I had a lot of crashes while trying to update the pack, so I had to do quite a bit of work on that end. It was a bit of a headache trying to update the pack for me. But one thing I did add is the chunk loaders mod, which adds these nifty chunk loaders in, and I added the library for it as well. So I added in cyclic chunk loaders and the library for chunk loaders. I can't remember the name; it's really long. But with this chunk loader, this one does a 7x7, and we can see here the 7x7 area, and I can go through and I can manually select what chunks I actually want loaded within that 7x7. Instead of just loading out the entire 7x7. I love that feature. To me, that's a feature that all chunk loaders have needed, but they never tend to get it. Of course, small chunk loaders being the exception. Ones that do one chunk or maybe a 3x3. Those aren't too bad, but I do like having this full control over it. That's kind of what I've been working on. And then I have also spent some time running out our mechanical belts, figuring out kind of how I wanted to have everything ran. So that way today we could finish up, we could get the cobblestone stuff going upstairs, as well as any generation that we want through that cobblestone. So, of course, this is where the items come up. This isn't really any different than it was. But you'll notice over here, there's a little bit more stuff going on. We're going to be setting this stuff up on camera. You can see some hoppers here, and then you can see it brings down a cogwheel, and then this stuff goes down, and you may have noticed that down below there is a belt up near the ceiling that then brings that stuff over to this belt that's then going right back up. So we're going to be making use of that today, as well as a few other things. Let me get my elevator. We'll pop up, and right up here you're going to notice a lot of new stuff. This is all stuff for today. This is where our items actually come up at. And I went ahead, I figured running these belts off camera, because it's so much just getting the directional rotation the correct way and running through all of that, I decided I'd set up the guts of everything, and then we can add the kind of the key pieces to get all this stuff set up. So the mechanical belts run down, then they run back up right here, and then cycle back around and then come over onto this. And then there's some stuff going on over here. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and start setting this stuff up. And the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our mechanical crafters, and we are going to make ourselves some crushing wheels. They do craft 2 at a time, so we only need 1 craft of this. Because my goal is to get basically the cobblestone, the smooth stone, the charcoal, the regular stone, the byproducts from cobblestone, all that stuff going down to our storage area today. And something I want to show you that's down here, I haven't got around to fixing it yet, but we have some wall lanterns. But we were using, I think it was the old brass lanterns, and I think the ID for it, or the textures changed, so now we have these purple blocks, so I've got to, we got to change all this back out. If we break them off, they just vanish, so something fun there I've got to fix. Like I said, I had a lot of issues when I went to upload this pack. You will notice some texture changes with Create. So they did change the size. So some of our systems, like our kelp, it broke that. Also, I noticed if I left the area and went over to the village, came back, it broke the kelp farm. So I had to fix that. But it seems better now that I've added a chunk loader over here. So just a heads up there. If we just want to tear these down, at least for now, because I don't have like a proper place where I want this to go, to be perfectly honest. So we're just going to place it out here. Something like this for the time being, just because right now we really just need our crushing wheel. So let's go ahead and rotate these out. I guess we'll have the items toss off on this side. Yeah. And then we'll do that. Send all the items over in that direction. These are going up. Okay. That should be good. And then what we'll do is we'll place in our stone, and we will place in our planks. And the rest of this is just andesite alloy, so we'll just place that out. There we go. And that's going to send it on down, and it's going to make our crushing wheels for us. So there we go. 2 of those. Boom, we got a pair of giants. And I think I've got everything set up in a way that should work for us out here. Though I may have to make some adjustments once we actually start running it. I don't know. Okay, so what we're going to do, first and foremost, let's go ahead. Let's pop down real quick. I don't need that. And let's grab ourselves our smooth stone, stone, cobblestone, charcoal. We'll take that. And then, let me get a little bit of cobblestone, actually. And what we're going to do is, once everything's running up through here, you know, cobblestone and everything's going to come up this way. And what we're going to do is, let's pop up to here. I find this is going to be a little bit easier to set up without everything running at the moment. But we're going to take, and we're going to be using quite a few brass tunnels today. We're going to set up one here and one right next to it. And we're going to put cobblestone into this filter. So only cobblestone can go out through this path, then just kind of everything else can run out this side. And then let me see, is this when multiple items available split? Yeah, we want to leave it on that. We'll just fix that. That's the default setting, so that's great. So now whenever cobblestone comes up here, it's going to split. So some of it's going to go down through there, and some of it's going to go down through here. And what we're going to do first and foremost is we're going to take that cobblestone and we're just going to run it through a mill to start making gravel. You can run it through a crusher too, but it still just makes gravel. So what we're going to do is right here, we're going to have a section of mills, and I've got enough space set up here for 4 of them. So if we start producing a lot of cobblestone, then we're just going to start producing more gravel. And underneath that is a brass funnel that's just going to take that gravel and send it down to the conveyor belt below. And it's basically just going to get dumped back on the conveyor belt and then come up through here and then head up is how we're going to do it. Because that seemed like the cleanest way to do that, and just let it go back on the belt, you know. But it can support up to 4 millstones. Now if we do that, we're probably going to have to speed up these belts, which we may end up doing before too long, just to speed up the whole process of things going through the factory and going out. And I've already ran cogwheels down. You can see some gearboxes here. So that all should be set up. So it just goes back down, comes back up, and then heads upstairs. And that's the only thing that we really need to set up down here. Originally I was thinking about having more down here, but it just felt too cluttered when I started laying out for that. So I figured, well, we'll go ahead and take stuff up to the next floor here. The items are going to come up right through here. And what we're going to do is we're going to put in a brass funnel set, say right here and no, not right there. Sorry. Let's bring it forward by 1. We'll have it setting here. And what we're going to do here is we're going to say that only gravel can go through here. Let's see if I got any gravel anywhere. Okay, so only gravel can come out this side, and then just everything else can just kind of go through there. Yeah, right over here you can see I had to put basically one more block out, which we're going to change these blocks, but one more block coming out because with the change of the funnel size, the kelp was just falling off right here and falling down, so that definitely was not ideal. Alright, so now the gravel's going to kind of flow down through here, and what we're going to do at this point is we're going to run that gravel through a crushing wheel right here, and it's going to make sand, it's going to make flint, it's going to make clay. I think flint and clay we're probably just going to send on its way because I don't think there's anything in particular that we want to do with that. Clay is kind of the same way. I don't think there's anything. I mean, we could make bricks. And maybe down the road we might set up something for bricks, but I don't think we're going to bother with that now. So what we're going to do is we're going to put in our crushing wheels here and here. And these are turning in different directions. And so this one will be rotating around like this, and this one will be rotating around like this. And so anything that kind of passes through this belt is then going to get crushed up. So, and then it's going to come out the other side. These can also be used for mobs. So maybe down the road it would be kind of cool to do a mob farm that uses belts and then sends them through crushing wheels. Would be kind of nifty. But for right now, we're just going to be running gravel through, and then that gravel is going to get broken up into its subsequent parts and then just kind of come up and around. And then right here, let's see, do I have any sand? I know I do, but it's all the way downstairs. So let me go grab that real quick. And while we're down here, let's go ahead, let's pop down to kind of our growing storage area. And I think, yeah, I haven't put void upgrades in any of this yet. Over here, we're going to have stone, cobblestone. Let me go ahead and make sure we've got a couple of those on us. Smooth stone, which we can go ahead and dump all that in there. We're also going to have limesand, limestone, weathered limestone. It was kind of important for me to get this stuff automated because this is stuff that we build with, right? We use it extensively. Gravel, we're going to have sand. We're also going to have clay and flint and charcoal. So we'll put all that stuff into there. And I do have a few void upgrades, but I don't know. We'll go ahead and put them into these, I guess, for the time being. And I do have some barrels down there with an absolute ton of that stuff. So I'll move those in due time. Okay, so once this stuff goes through the crushing wheels, it's going to come up and it's going to be all that stuff, that clay, that flint, that sand. And what we're going to do is right in here, we're going to split it off again. And we're going to say that, you know, everything can go through here. It doesn't matter. But on this side, only sand can go through. And the reason being, whenever sand goes through a mill, it's going to make our limesand for us. So we're going to set up a mill. And basically what I've got right here is just a hopper underneath here that then feeds down into the mill. I haven't put a block in front of this to stop it. I don't think that we'll have to, because I think we'll have plenty of space and stuff going through this mill. But if the time comes that we need that, we can add a block in front of this just to stop things, or a trapdoor or something like that, just to kind of stop the blocks. So everything else, you know, about half the sand and then all the clay and flint can go down through here, which then dumps right back onto the belt and goes off. Then the sand's going to get broken down into lime sand. It's going to come through here. And about, let's see, come down to here. We're going to say about right here. When it goes through, we're going to have about 50% of the lime sand come out here. And then what's going to happen is it's going to go through this little process where there's going to be a fan blowing it on the belt as it travels through and turning that then into limestone, which we'll be able to see all this in action here in just a moment. But I just find it easier to set all this up with nothing running because I can move around on the belts and there's no fans pushing me and all that. Then we're going to set up another, I think this will be our last brass tunnels. And what we're going to do here is we're going to say that only limestone can come out this side. And then, of course, limestone will come out this side as well. Which this side, it's going to bring it up onto this belt, which is then going to feed onto this belt. And then the limestone that comes out this side is going to come through. Oh, that turned into ice. I didn't think about that. Alright, so we'll just put that there. Break that. There we go. So water's going to hit that limestone and turn it into our weathered limestone. And then what we're going to do is, I've kind of got a little gearbox here that runs down and feeds up into a cogwheel. And we're just going to have a mechanical arm. Shift right click there. So we're going to say you can take items from this belt. And then shift right click to deposit items onto that belt. And then what we can do is put that on right there. Oh, we got ice cubes. And then that's going to basically just take the weathered limestone. It doesn't have to be filtered because the weathered limestone gets made about the time it reaches this point, and then it'll dump it onto this belt and feed back up onto here. And then it'll send it off then down onto our waterway. Oh, we got a piece of kelp that's just about to fall down. Okay, so now at this point we can go and turn everything on. This is kind of what it looks like from above here. So it's coming together. It's a mess. But as I build this upper area, I found with the lower floor, I think it's easier just to build your create stuff and then just kind of make adjustments as you build out the rooms to make everything fit. Like I have plans to raise some of these belts up and have them kind of go up so we can have a doorway and things like that. And open it up right in here so we can walk into the kelp farm. Just little things like that. But I do think it's going to be easier to do it then. And then we're going to have chimneys that kind of come up here, I think. As well as probably in a couple other places that connect to the downstairs, the basement floor, I think. Okay, so now what we're going to do is let's go ahead and just jump start. Toss in a bit of that. Get everything running. Toss that into there. Get that stuff running. And fire up our furnaces. And then at this point, we're going to go ahead. I will say FPS might be a little bit crazy with this. Yeah, I can already feel it a little bit. It's actually not as bad, though, as it was before, but it is still pretty bad. So the cobblestone is going to start flowing through. Oh, I wanted to add a brass tunnel here as well. I'd set up this right in here. But what we're going to do is put in brass tunnel, and we're going to say that you can send cobblestone out here. And just that way, you know, some of my cobblestone is going to come out and flow up and not focus so much on making smooth stone and stuff. Because I do have a lot of processes over here. Ooh, I can kind of feel the FPS hit. But a lot of our cobblestone can start going up through there. Oh, it's not really sending any over here now, is it? Okay, yeah, maybe with no filter that's better. I was thinking it would split this a little bit better. But it's sending 100% of it over. Okay, yeah, we're going to have to change up one thing on these brass tunnels. So I'm going to leave this with no filter because only cobblestone's coming through here, so we really don't need a filter. You can see it's splitting that just perfectly well. And we should actually see probably gravel. Yeah, you can see we got 13 gravel. Let me just open this up for just a moment here. That's feeding down. Yeah, because it's all just backing up in here. I don't know. Wonder, did they just remove the ability for these to feed down onto belts, like, completely? Because if so, I might have to use hoppers for this part. I know they can still feed, like, sideways to a belt. But yeah, see, okay. So I'm going to have to just change this up a little bit. My brass funnels are just going to run through the system, I guess. That's okay. But you can see gravel starting to come through this system here. We're going to set up a filter for that in just a moment so that it'll actually split and send cobblestone up here, because right now it's sending it all to that side. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a filter from create, and we're just going to put in, we're going to say this is going to be the allow list, gravel, cobblestone, stone, smooth stone, charcoal. That can go through here, and then we're just going to put that into there. So we should say cobblestone going in there, but then also cobblestone going onto the far side. Yeah, there we go. Oh, this FPS. Like I said, I've tried and I've tried and I've tried and I've tried to fix it. I may just have to switch the type of cobblestone generator that we've got, because this is unfortunate. And it's really not like a big elaborate setup that I've got going on over there. But it's not working for us. But you could see actually weathered limestone coming out through here. But let's take a look here, because it's probably not sending any gravel out this side at the moment. We'll get it here in just a second. We'll go downstairs and set up that filter. So I'm going to set it off to the side for right now. But then right down here, it's coming through. You can see. Ooh, that's a bit of damage from the crusher. But that's what it'll do to mobs as well. But then the sand comes up. And of course, right now it's going to be prioritizing all sand goes through here. But we're going to set up a filter here that says you can take the sand, the flint, and the clay and send them over on this side. But it's going through the millstone, coming through, and right now, of course, it's 100% going through to there, but we're also going to put limesand on that filter over there. But if we watch this, you can see it becomes limestone, goes through right here, and you can see there's all of our limestone that's coming through, and it's becoming weathered. Of course, it's all like backed up at the moment because that mechanical arm, it's not intended for it to get 100% of everything. Let me go downstairs and turn this off for just a minute. Yeah, I think I'm just going to have to come up with a new cobblestone generator. It may not be as exciting and interesting, but this is just, it just murders FPS so bad. So let's go ahead on this one here. Of course, we're taking the limesand there, but I also want to take limesand here because I do want some of that to get filtered and sent downstairs for us. And then right over here, we're sending limestone down on this side, but I also want to send some down on the other side so that it can go and get dumped downstairs for us. So there we go, and this is where it's going to come out at. And now you can see lots of stuff traveling down these belts. Oh, I may have to put, yeah, I think I'm going to have to put a block right in there. That's okay. So for right now, just for reference, we'll put in like a stone block. But we'll do something else there instead. Probably end up using a lot of trapdoors and things for some of this stuff. And let's take a look here. You can see there's our spruce. There's our funnels that came through. But you can also see we did get some flint and we got some clay from this system. And if we take a look, we'll probably see, yeah, things starting to come down here. We'll take a look once the system's running. Even though it's going to have horrible FPS, can't be helped. But we're going to put in flint. We're going to put in clay on this. Now, the filters that we've got to set up. One of them is going to be that front end filter. And it's going to be like all these things can go through. We're just going to put everything into this filter, basically. So all of these and that. So you can take limesand, limestone, weathered limestone, sand, and you can take clay and flint as well. So this will be the one there at kind of that main junction where everything's kind of coming through. We want to be able to send everything out to the waterways. And then we're going to set up one here. And we're going to say that you can take sand, flint, and clay. And I think that's the only two that we need. This is basically just the points where there's multiple different out points. So that way we can have, you know, only sand going out one side, but then sand and everything else being able to go out the other side. Because we do want just some sand. You know, we don't want it all turned into limestone. But we want it to split at about a 50-50, roughly. What's going to happen is things like limestone we're not going to have maybe as much of as, you know, cobblestone coming in. But over time we're going to have plenty of all these things, and it's going to kind of split in a way that I think is going to work out for us pretty well. So let's put in this filter here that has everything. It's going to go in right there. So everything can go out this side, but only gravel can go out this side. And you can see there that gravel's about to get smashed up. And there goes some sand. And then over on this side, we want to put the filter that has the sand, the clay, and the flint. Just pop it into there. And that way you can start splitting off some of that sand. Yeah, watch out for that stuff. Some of that sand to go down on this side as well. And now we should be able to pop down and activate, turn this stuff back on. But at this point we should see increases on all those things. Everything that's down in the drawers downstairs, we should see increases on those. And so let's go ahead, let's fire up that. And I'm going to go replace this piece of wood upstairs real quick. Cobblestone's coming up. That's perfect. And it should be splitting. So there goes some, perfect. And I'm sure once we build far enough away from this system that it probably wouldn't be an issue, like the horrible FPS that we've got going on. But if we take a look here, you can see there went some gravel, lime sand. We should start seeing some gravel going down there and getting chopped up. Now let's actually set this to randomize, because I don't feel like it's sending any gravel over here. I'm watching it and it's just kind of like sending it all on that belt, which we don't want. Yeah, there goes some. Yeah, let's have that on randomize. I may end up setting all these to randomize, though I feel like it was doing pretty good on the just the split on everything else, but gravel for some reason, I don't know if it has to do with so many things coming through or what. Maybe I'll set all these to randomize, just kind of do whatever. Because I feel like unless you have just a constant stream of things coming out, round robin and stuff doesn't always work out like you would hope. I think cobblestone is splitting very well though, so I'm not going to worry too much about that. I think just the other things, I kind of want those set to randomize, I believe. But yeah, you can see a lot of different items coming down through here. We're going to go ahead and hop down. But I think, yeah, I think as we start getting away from that, it's not too bad. It's just when we're right up near it, it's horrendous. So, I mean, this isn't too bad. I can still kind of feel it, but not too much. And the farther I get away from it, it seems like the better it gets. Okay, so if we watch this, which I may end up having to speed up the belt that dumps all this, but yeah, you can see items starting to come down through here a little bit better. A bit more consistent than where it was like last episode. So there it goes. Just constant little stream of things coming through. And you can see these items getting pumped up. Pretty much all going into the slave here. And getting dumped into this. So you can see we've already got a stack of cobblestone. We've got bit of all this stuff. We got 45 weathered limestone, I think because it was prioritizing it so much at first there. You can see some flint, some clay balls. Now the flint and clay balls, it's not a huge chance to get that. Like for example, if we take a look at gravel, I think it's only a 10 and a 5 for that. It's 10% chance on flint, 5% chance on clay, and you're going to get sand every time. So these will be kind of a little bit coming in, but I think over time with a chunk loader, these are going to add up pretty quick. You can see the speed that it's kind of coming down through here. Like I said, we may end up bumping up the speed of the belts. We'll see. Kind of speed that whole process up. And I'm gonna try just a couple more things just that kind of just came to mind, like the vacuum collector and things, to try to get that cobblestone generator working to a point that it's not just abysmal FPS. I mean, you can see when I start getting near this, it just starts chugging. Because I really wanted this to be just like more purely create and vanilla more than anything, and not have a ton of like other mods things. But that cobblestone generator is just abysmal. But at this point I kind of have to run it so that we can actually have this whole system running that creates everything from cobblestone. And then the crusher, you can also drop the items through it, but I've just kind of got them going through the belt. I think it looks better and works out better for our setup, I believe. And next episode, I do think we're going to switch over, do a little bit of mine colonies. That'll kind of give me some free time. I wanted to kind of wrap up some of the stuff that we were working on over here. I do know smoothstone stuff's not coming over here, and the reason being is because I still have those funnels set up. Let me go fix that real quick. It just dawned on me that it was like, oh yeah, excess cobblestone and smoothstone, stone, charcoal is all getting still deposited into drawers, which isn't what we want. But yeah, it's like some of the stuff that I was doing on here has taken forever, and then some of the stuff that I've been doing on Enigmatica has taken forever because hardened ice is not my friend. I hate it. So now all the smoothstone, you can see it's starting to kind of make its way up at this point and get sent up to our belts that are over here through all the wonky FPS that we've got going on. Oh, and I just kind of fixed our FPS a little bit. You can see it's still really clunky, but for some reason I hadn't tried adjusting the smooth lighting, and I adjusted that, and this is a bit better. You can still feel the FPS hit over here, like for sure. But I just turned off smooth lighting. It's going to make the game look a little bit worse, but and I don't know why that is, because I've stuck glowstone blocks down there and torches and just absolute ton of lighting down there. Because I know, in the past, redstone lighting has always been an issue. That's nothing new. So I tried for that, but apparently I didn't try hard enough, because it seems a little bit better. Either that or it's just like graphically less intense. That might be the case, because I'm still kind of chugging a little bit, but I don't know. I may still just see about adjusting to some other kind of cobblestone generator. Not ideal, but I think it may be required for us. I may have to speed up those belts, because now that I've plugged up everything else, it's like a constant stream of things going through. But that's what we want to see. We want kind of this constant stream of items getting sent down, and we're going to have other places where these item belts, other item belt systems kind of dump things off into that little waterway. But this is kind of our cobblestone and power generation, as well as kelp. That's kind of this belt's purpose, and it seems to be handling that pretty well at the moment with our current speeds and everything. Whoops. Let me pop down. I want to see the items flowing through, and then I think we're going to wrap up this episode, because I know it's about wrapping up point. But I do think running the belts and stuff between episodes, kind of as the prep work, works out, because they take a while to run, to be sure, and get all the rotational force just right and all that. Yeah, it seems like more of a constant stream of items kind of flowing through at this point. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already, to stay updated with when new videos come out. Like I said, next episode we're going to switch back over to mine colonies for a couple episodes, maybe get a couple things done, and then we'll probably come back over to create, because now we're starting to get things kind of set up and sorted, and starting to get things rolling. Like I said, I've just been spending a lot of time trying to battle some issues that I'm having within this pack. I did test these same setups in other packs, had no issues. It's just Valhelsia does not like our create setups, so I don't know. I didn't have any issue with them in my test world for Stacia anyways, so I don't know. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode, and I hope to see you guys next time. So until then, as always, do take care, stay safe. I'll see you guys then.